Greetings, everybody. My name is Ronan from the Reality Forecast channel on YouTube, and I'm joined with Liz Cross. And this morning at CTT, someone brought up the emotion code, and I thought it'd be a good idea to talk a little bit more about it so we can understand how this process works and how it's different from the consciousness transformation technique. How you doing, Liz?
Great. Yeah, the reason they brought it up is because I had my friend Mary Beth give us an emotion code demonstration for the subscribers only. It will be released to the public at some point. I just don't know when, but that's why it's come up. So if you're not on the Patreon, I'm sorry, folks, you're not getting all the videos.
For updates, you can check patreon.com/remote viewing and beyond to sign up. And this guy, Dr. Bradley Nelson, I never trust a doctor who wants to be called by a first name, but let's take a look at him and see how he's doing if we can bring in his consciousness.
Okay, I've got him.
How you doing, Dr. Nelson/Brad?
Yeah, he's doing well. He's doing well. I feel like he has been through some illness, but I feel like he's in recovery.
And so this idea of the emotion code, where emotions are trapped and they cause trauma in your body, and I think I found a cheat sheet. I don't know if it's actually his, but how did he come up with this idea of the emotion code?
It took a lot of years of studying and exploring that illnesses. So he's telling me, like, people that have lots of different illnesses, he started to see a correlation to how their lives were being lived, and that, they had significant emotional trauma, and that they're carrying those traumas with them. Well, you just can't keep carrying all this dark energy. That is on par what we got in one of our CTTs. If you remember that, Ronan, because Ronan hosts the CTT as well. Thank you for doing all that. But if you remember, we got that emotions get stored in the body. And if they keep being stored in a particular place, eventually when the cell division is going on, because that's the natural process, right? The new cells become diseased or distorted or damaged, and then it all spirals from there. Okay, now that makes sense to me, that answer.
And he talks about muscle testing to find out how can people learn more about muscle testing for themselves and to find out how to get better at it.
See, he believes that everybody can muscle test for themselves. And I'm saying, okay, but you're intuitive. I think you can make non-emotive predictions with muscle testing, but I think when you're tuning into yourself, it's very difficult. We had this question earlier, actually. It's very difficult to be objective and subjective at the same time. So you're trying to objectively tune in to your own problem. I think it's better to work either with a practitioner or to work in teams.
And he talks about the pressure builds up specifically in these muscle areas or these body areas, and you're able to remove those or push those out. How many trial and errors did he have to go through before he came up with this concept of the muscle testing, the energy work, and the trauma healing?
Did you invent muscle testing? Well, yes, he says I did. Did you, and where did you get your inspiration from? Now, there was some sort of sage or some teacher that said the body could be a good indicator of predicting things or to give you answers. So he's talking about body swaying. So is that where you got the idea of muscle testing? And I feel like it is. Obviously, what Mary Beth showed us how to do, which is the locking mechanism. That's what she uses, but other people use their arms and different ways. I'm sorry, what was the question?
Who can remember? Is this emotional code helpful in packing past life trauma?
No, it's only for present day.
How much of our trauma is held as a past life trauma versus this current incarnation? And I know this is subjective, but roughly, would you say as a percentage?
Very little. So he believes maybe less than 20%. So what we're going through in this lifetime that you're muscle testing for, this is very surface, right? Pertaining to this lifetime. You and I know that you have
He's
to
saying
really,
this lifetime is 20%, correct?
yes.
Okay.
And so, right, the 80%, because there has to be a reason that we designed it this way in the first place, right? So as far as like solving the issues, it's less than 20%.
This reminds me a lot of the iceberg on the Titanic, where you can see a little bit above the surface, but down below, that iceberg is a lot deeper. So you need something like consciousness transformation technique or my own method, awaken self-healing, which is going to tap into those traumas and try to figure out where that block is and make sure that it goes away. So this could be used in conjunction with that CTT and awaken self-healing method as well.
Well, and as I explained this morning to one of our members in our group, that I had someone doing the emotion code at the same time while I was doing the CTT. That was huge. Like that was a massive release. But don't forget, a lot of problems with healing modalities is that we're so used to living in a particular vibrational state that our natural defenses kick back in to go back to that comfort zone. So let's ask him this question. Do you believe that the emotion code is a permanent removal of bad emotions and that these traumas do not reoccur? And he says no. So it's not a permanent removal of what's going on. If that's where your body is used to storing emotions, even though you may say you carry the stress on your shoulders, which a lot of us do, I know that I do. If you remove that it's only temporary, because if you're used to storing it there, then whenever the next stressful event comes along, you're going to store it right back there. So I'm saying to him, wouldn't it be better to develop not only a program to remove the emotions, but a way to stop you from storing the emotions in one particular place? And I don't know how to do that. So that is something for the masses. If you're out there listening and you come up with a way to do that, drop it in the comments. I would be interested in testing that out.
Yeah, it's certainly a process, and we don't realize how much of an impact the situations that we put ourselves in this incarnation continue to affect us. So we can affect that healing, but we don't have any shield to have it impact us or react negatively to us again.
So one of the things that is I've seen practice is that this transcends all space and time and reality or whatever. So I want to ask Source about that. Does this transcend all space, time, and reality? No, it only transcends our current reality. It does not seem to affect the past or the future realities.
And so it's a singular fix. It's not almost like a tourniquet, but we still have to treat the wound and continue to treat it and continue to treat it so that it heals.
Do you have to continually treat? So yeah, so using this method, you have to basically it's a work in progress. Like you have to keep doing it. But if that's, again, if that's where you naturally store your emotions, then you're just, once you clear out, I guess clearing out, and so there, instead of them layering on top of one another and really building, I guess that's what he means by the pressure. He's saying yes. It's better to try and clear it out as much as possible. But
it feels like a lot of people are searching for that healing method. And I feel like going into their emotions, is it really going to, how much better will they feel and how long will that feeling last?
It depends on the individual. I'm saying, are you working on physical ailments? And he says, yes, we work on physical ailments. So it's like when you have a physical ailment in the body, you look into the emotions that are trapped within that physical ailment or behind that physical ailment. But I'm saying to him, every time you facilitate healing, especially with energy, there has to be an exchange. So just because you're releasing that energy from the body, you either have to transmute it, or it, because it's dark energy, it needs to find another host, and it has to find one very quickly. And he's telling me that's correct. And I'm saying, okay, so what do you do with the energy? And he's saying, we leave it up to the divine team to take away that energy. I'm
so
like,
he does bring about that method.
Yeah, but I'm saying, is that always successful? And he's like, I believe so. So let's ask source, is that always successful? And I'm getting a no. You really need to be responsible and transmute it immediately.
Yeah, we teach that in my Awaken Self-Healing course. Also, my remote viewing course, I teach people how to do a quick 5-minute meditation to get rid of their own trauma and protect themselves. Does he teach protection methods in his class?
A little bit, but not much. I would say that protection should be like the number one thing to me. Just because I can see energy, I can see the flow of energy. I understand how energy moves. I understand how it works. I understand how it sticks to people. You've got to do the grounding and protection. Like you have to, and even grounding and protection, it just means it may skip over you, but it could hit your family member. It could just stick around in your house. I would say the safest method, and I'm asking source, is the safest method to transmute it, and I'm getting a yes.
Does he have any negative energy attachments associated with him based on the work that he has done, or does he protect and ground himself before he attempts that?
He tends to store emotions in his liver and his kidneys. Bladder was where he stores his emotions. And obviously, I know people want to live forever, right? Of course we all do. Especially
sure, why not?
Kids and, grandchildren and great, I would love that. But it's just not possible. So somewhere along the line, our bodies are going to decay anyway.
Well, I'll download myself into a robot body.
But what are you going to do when the soul says, I'm tired and I'm checking out of here, whether you like it or not?
I'll go to Mars.
Yeah, well, you can go to Mars. But he does like daily meditations, and he does cleansing practices and burning things and stuff like that. But he obviously is still storing emotions himself. We all do it.
We all do it. It's hard to get away from those emotions. I think the best way to do it is never have any emotions about anything, right, Liz? No, wait, then you're a sociopath. There's no good way. You got to clean, heal, and transmute immediately when those negative emotions come through for you.
Yeah, and this is a quest that we're trying to figure out. I mean, it's an ongoing thing of how to prevent yourself from attracting any negative energy in whatsoever. And that includes like, bad financial decisions. It just includes everything. How do we protect ourselves from negative energy?
That's an ongoing problem for all of us.
It is, because it flows in and it flows out. It flows in, it flows out. But when you start building up, and his theory is correct, when you start building up lots and lots of negative energy in a place, then you start, these distortions of your body, the cells' jobs, and so then it starts to affect, and then you can, grow tumors or grow diseases, and everything becomes a dysfunction in that area. So where, how do we stop this? And if we did stop it, would that prevent our body from decaying? It would definitely slow it down considerably. But then I had this conversation the other day. Why is it angry people live longer than anyone else? I don't know.
Would it prevent your spiritual healing growth as well if you got rid of all of that dark energy? Isn't dark energy sort of a method to elevate your spirit? That adversity makes us stronger?
Yeah, that's true. We need some level of darkness and trauma in order to elevate the soul and process it. But, a lot of people can't move past those traumas, especially if those traumas have happened when you were exceptionally young, a baby, a toddler. Your memories, you cannot, when you're experiencing the event, there's a detachment so that you're not understanding the full weight of the trauma that is going on. So how are you supposed to access that in order to clear it out? So a lot of people get trapped by those traumatic events, those emotions. I mean, one thing I have discovered with doing this cracking the manifestation code, and that will only be released to Patreon subscribers. It's huge. This thing that we're doing is that you're always going to be in a trap. It's just, which trap do you want to be in? Do you want to be in the poor trap or the rich trap? Do you want to be in the sad trap or the happy trap? It's like you're always going to be in a trap. That's just the way this whole thing is designed. You will never experience the ultimate freedom, because the ultimate freedom is off the earth plane, off the spirit world. Like, it's out there, and you're going to be very lonely if you experience the ultimate freedom. It's like, what are you existing for? Nothing. So what's the point? But
Loneliness.
you're always
Loneliness is different than being alone.
Exactly. You can be in a house full of people but still feel lonely. But it's about which trap do you want to be in? And you have to figure that out. Everything's a trap, but where do you want to be?
And if you're interested more in Liz's Patreon, go to patreon.com/remote viewing and beyond to find out about that one, plus a series we're working on where we uncover the darkness and help you learn how to protect yourself better from it.
Oh, yeah, that's a really powerful series. This was
Thanks
awesome.
very much, Dr. Nelson. And thanks, Liz. Thanks, everybody, for listening. We'll see you guys next time.
Thank you.